All right. Hey guys. Welcome to day 4 of Tech Week. Jordan and I are going to present to you FINtastic Resources today. Hope you guys have been learning a lot so far this week. We're glad that you joined us today. Make sure that you take the attendance survey real quick so that we know that you're here. You can scan the QR code with your phone, or you can link to the link in the slide right here, the tiny URL. So we're going to give you all a few seconds to do that. Make sure that that you do that, because that's how you get registered for door prizes, and everybody likes prizes. So we need to make sure that you are in. All right, Jordan. We can always go back to this at the end if you missed it. And also, we're going to share this presentation with you guys too at the very end of this, or it might be at the end of the week. But all the slides from Tech Week are going to be able to be accessed by you guys. So if you miss something, you can always go back and get it. Make sure that you put your questions in the comment section. You can also put your name, what school you're from. We can kind of network that way. And hopefully we'll get to all your questions. Jordan is helping me out today with the questions, and so we will definitely get those answered for you guys. All right. Oh, I'm pushing this slide here again. All right, a little bit about us. I'm Jessica Edwards. I teach at Southside Elementary. I am the K-5 STEAM teacher there. I love reading, learning Spanish, and going on some adventures. I have a master's plus 27. I'm trying to catch up with Jordan. Do you want to do yours?
So I'll add myself back, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Right. I'm Jordan Guidry. I am a teacher, a 7th grade ELA teacher at Live Oak Junior High. I'm a certified reading specialist. I can't do mine because we'll have back feed.
Oh,
but
I'll do yours. Yeah. Sorry, we're sitting a little close, so the computer screeched. But Jordan, I don't know if you heard her or not. She teaches 7th grade ELA at Live Oak Middle. She's a certified reading specialist, a mother of 2. She loves Dr. Pepper, reading, science fiction, and learning, and she has her master's plus 30. So a little bit about us. We're going to have some links at the end if you need to email us, or you can go to our Twitter or Instagram. We'll have that at the very end of the slide for y'all. You could take me off of there, Jordan. Okay. All right. Again, this is FINtastic Resources. We are going to present some resources that are helpful for K-8. There's a few in there for high school, not many, but we snuck some in for our high school friends. But most of the resources that we're going to go over today are kind of geared for elementary and middle school age students. All right, so let's rock and roll with some resources. First one is Reflex Math. I embedded some links into the presentation so that whenever you guys get this at home, if you click the link, it'll work for you. If not, I mean, you can always Google Reflex Math and it'll come right up. But I try to make it a little bit easier to access. This is a system for mastering basic facts, addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division for grades 2 and up. The students really, really like this. I've used it for a few years. The first year I got a grant for it and tried it out with 3rd grade. They absolutely loved it, and it definitely helped them to get better at their multiplication, which is what we were doing in 3rd grade. Now I know our district has they have Reflex Math, so it's something that I would definitely utilize if you can. We do it at our school for grades 2 and up. The first thing that the students are going to see is the fact fair. And so right here you can see there's Krabby's fact fair. There's little crab. His name is Krabby. This is just going to gauge which facts that they're going to work on. And the time that it's going to take them to punch in the numbers. So it's kind of gauging how quick they are and also which facts that they're going to need to work on. And the first thing that they do is make a little avatar. So you can kind of see there's mine down here in the corner of Krabby's Fact Fair. And then they do that. Once they get past that, they go to something called the island. And as you can see, it's very bright, very colorful. Kids love it. This is where they're able to choose a game. And the games that they can choose so far are Ninja to the Stars and Wind Rider. Those are the only two that are open to them at first. So as you can see, the other ones stay closed. Once they click on that, they're going to be doing some facts, and there's a green light. They want to get that green light. It'll come up dark at first, and once they are on there, it usually takes anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes, they achieve a green light. And the more green lights they achieve, this is how it gauges their percent of fluency, and this is how they unlock the games. They also unlock something called the store, which is where they can change their avatar. They can buy things, clothes, accessories, and so on. I had to tell my students that they were not able to go to the store unless they got a green light. Sometimes after they work on it for a little while, it'll unlock the store, but they'll just want to spend the whole time in the store changing their avatar's clothes. So kind of have to tell them, not to do that at first. So once they do that, the first thing that they do when they click onto a game, it's going to bring them to a puzzle. So you see it on the right side of the screen. There's a little bear, and then there's a puzzle. Sometimes the little bear will appear. Her name is Coach Penny, and she will kind of tutor them in some of the facts that they're missing, and then they'll go to the puzzle. Once they unlock the puzzle, it'll let them go to the game. And I have two examples. The first one is the Ninja to the Stars, and the second one is the Wind Rider. They're coached on their specific facts. The puzzles gauge the fluent facts that they have and which ones they still need to have a little bit more practice in. And then they play the games to earn points. And so, of course, they love that. They try to get the most points that they can. With points, they also earn like coins, which also allows them to go buy things in the store. And some of the students were showing me that they also have a tree, and the more they spend time on it, their tree grows, and then they get to buy things for their tree house, like lights and animals and certain things like that. So it's very creative. It has some different attributes attached to it that makes the kids engaged in it and interested in learning their facts. So I found that to be a really, really good resource, especially for students that struggle in multiplication and division, or students that are starting out learning addition and subtraction. It's really good starting in second grade, or if you have a first grader that is kind of advanced and wants to practice that. This resource is something that can be accessed at home. The students have their own username and password, so it's a good resource to tell parents if they are struggling, their students are struggling with fluency. It's really, really good for that as well. There is, once you log into it, you can access it as a teacher account, but it'll also let you go to the student view. So if you're wondering what the students see when they log in, you could go to the student view and you can actually play the games as if you were a student as well. Teachers can do that. But what we really want to know about is, what is it going to tell us? What kind of data are we going to get from this? So I've attached a few reports just so that you can see a little bit about what is helpful for you as a teacher with this resource. So this is the class report. It'll have all your students listed. It'll have what assignment they're working on. So these students were working on multiplication and division up to 12. It will have this initial assessment right here is something that happens at the very beginning, just it's the program will decide what facts that they have, and it doesn't take very long. And so the more they log in, the initial assessment will be complete, and then you'll start seeing their percentage of fact fluency. So as you can see, this is the students over here. This is their fact fluency. And then this will tell you when the last time they used it was, when their last login was. So as you can see, there was one student that actually logged in after we were out of school. This down here at the bottom left corner is your group fluency average, so where they started from and where they are currently. So I'm happy with this class. They increased. And then this is your group fluency distribution, so where they started from, where they are now, percentages of fact fluency. So this class report is extremely helpful, along with, if you're wondering just about an individual student, they do have individual reports. So this student right here, this tells you how many total days that they've used the program, the average they've used it per week, how many facts that they've gained, where they started from, where they are now, the percentage of green lights that they got, and then just some different milestones that they've had throughout the dates that they've used it. And then over here to the right, we'll give you some facts that they are fluent in. So the dark green is something that they know, and the light green is the ones that they do not. They still need practice on. And if you see it's half and half, then that means that they either have one part of the fact family and not the other. So they may have 9 times 9 is 81, but they might not remember that 81 divided by 9 is 9. So the half and half just means that they only have one part of the fact family right. So this is a really good report too if you're just looking at somebody specific, or if a parent asks, which facts do they need to work on, you can pull this up real quick, and it's just a quick view of what they're still working on. So that about does it for Reflex Math. The next resource that we're going to talk about is MobyMax. MobyMax is a K-8 program, so it's for elementary and junior high students. It has all of the subjects listed to the right. So this is the dashboard that pulls up for students. As a teacher, you can log in and see it as well, but this is what the students see when they pull it up. It's a program for finding learning gaps and fixing learning gaps that students may have, and also pinpoints missing skills and tracks their progress. As far as this dashboard, like you might have a middle school student that does not need any help with phonics and spelling rules. So there is a way to take some of these apps off of the dashboard and only leave certain ones on there. So you can, as a teacher, you can delete some apps and leave others. So it doesn't always have to look like this. It can look however you want it to look, and you can make it look the way that you want it for specific students and kind of individualize it for them. So what does it offer? So MobyMax offers a lot of things. It offers some classroom tools where it'll let you assign lessons, show you which students failed a lesson. It'll show you how long it took the students to do a certain lesson or to take a certain assessment on there. It has motivation. So if you are trying to motivate your students on their technology time, it will give them badges and certificates that you can print out for them. It does have games on it. So the more questions the students get right, they get game time. So that's something that as a teacher, you might have to say, well, you have to, get this many right in order to spend your game time, or only on Fridays you get to spend your game time. So it does have that. I believe you might be able to take that off, but I'm not 100% sure. I actually did use it as an incentive, so I kept it on there. It does have some data, and we'll go over that in a few minutes. And then teacher extras. So PD video, like if there's something you're like, well, I wonder what, reading informational is all about. They have videos for just about everything on here. So you can watch it real quick and be like, I don't think my student needs that. Let me try something else. They do have webinars that you can attend, and they have a daily tablet giveaway, which you're like, oh, I'll never win that. But actually, a teacher at my school won. It's just you. Every time you log into MobyMax, they give you a ticket, and it goes into a drawing. And she actually won an iPad one day. She logged in, and her name was up there, and they sent it through the mail, and she got her an iPad. So it is to your advantage just to log in every once in a while, because you might win something. The two arrows that I have right here are for assigning lessons and student dashboards. These are the two things that I use the most. So we're going to go over that a little bit. All right, student dashboard. So this is a chart that shows your specific student and what they've done. So this student right here, you can see when they last logged in, what subject they were working on, and how many minutes. So this student, he did this in May, and that was when we had some work sent home. So he logged into math, and he only logged in for a minute. So I'm thinking that he accidentally clicked it or something, because you can see he worked in reading for 18 minutes. So if a student is supposed to be working on something, you can log in as a teacher and see, oh, well, he was on social studies and he was supposed to be on science. You can see what they're supposed to be working on. This is the, again, this is just a pie chart of the time spent. And then down here is their grade level progress. You can see on the side the grade level equivalency and where they're at and what they're working on, or how they've increased it or decreased. On the right is the class dashboard. I don't really use the class dashboard too much. I'd rather use the individual dashboard just because I can see a specific student and their progress. The class dashboard, it does have some charts on it, just your weekly time spent by the students or daily time spent and what subjects that they've spent and how many standards. So, I mean, if you're looking as a class and want to know what your students have done, it may be helpful, but I find the student dashboard a lot more informative. But it's up to you. You know, they do have both there for your convenience. One thing that I really, really like is that MobyMax has the ability to assign lessons. So you can just say, okay, y'all go to math, and the kids will click on math, and it'll give them whatever math that they may be working on for that day. Or you can assign a specific lesson to enhance what you're doing in the classroom. So in order to do that, I have some directions on this slide. And like I said, these slides will be available to you guys as well. But it's super easy. You just click on the subject that you want, and they have a bunch of tabs at the top. You'll click on the lessons and the assign tab. You can pick one specific student, or you can pick the entire class. Once you do that, you can choose a grade level. So you can make the assignment on grade level. You can make it higher for students that might need something a little bit more rigorous. Or you can pick a lower grade level for those struggling students that just might need to work on something and to bump up a little bit. Then you pick a standard, whatever standard you want them to work on, and you click assign. So the next time that student logs into MobyMax, an assignment will pull up and they will click on the assignment that you have for them. And then you're able to go and check their progress through that. You can also create tests, make student goals, and check your students' progress. Down here is just another chart that is very helpful. It has the beginning grade level and the ending grade level that MobyMax assigned to these specific students. How much they increased, how many standards they passed, and then learning velocity. So all of these students had an increase, some more than others, but it lets you know a little bit of where they are, and maybe if you can assign some lessons based on these grade levels or where you want your students to be. The next couple of slides, I've just put some examples of what MobyMax looks like. So here's some science examples. It may have a story, a text. It may have a chart where they have to organize things. It may have a writing prompt where they have to practice typing. And that's very good for the 4th and 5th graders, as also for upper grades that have to type a lot on their test. And even starting in 3rd grade, some of the students are learning to type things on their tests. For reading, they have 2. They have reading skills literature and reading skills informational. So, of course, one's fiction and one is usually nonfiction. These have different skills. As you can see, like the first one is read the passage and use evidence from the text to support your answers. So very much aligned with the standardized testing that the students are used to taking. Quoting things from a text. So they want the students to read the passage and find the quote from the text that supports the meaning. What I like about these questions on MobyMax is that they are very rigorous, and they are worded in a way that is similar to those standardized tests that the kids have to take. This is math. So when they first log in, it will ask the students to take a placement test, and that's how it knows where the student is and what they need to be working on. So I made myself a login, and I logged in just so that I could find some examples of the math questions. And of course, I was trying to be smarter than a 5th grader. So my questions down here do look a little rigorous. So they have word problems. They have procedural problems right here. And they do have application problems as well. Sometimes the students will have to type in an answer. Sometimes they'll have to drag and drop, just depending on what it is. So there's some of them have charts. Some of them don't. Just depending on what it decides that they need to be working on. All right, whoops. All right, so that is it for MobyMax. The next resource is Edpuzzle. We didn't go into a lot of information in Edpuzzle because, as I was noticing, a lot of schools did that for their training, for their technology training certificate. But it is a great resource, so I just wanted to kind of quickly hit on it a little bit. This can actually be from kindergarten, pre-K, kindergarten, all the way up to high school. Edpuzzle has videos that you can use to enhance your lesson. You can use them as quick formative assessment. You can make video assignments for your class. And you can become an expert on all the things you can do with Edpuzzle, because they do have certifications for teachers, which a lot of us have done. The videos that they can pull from are right here on the right. So there's lots of different resources that they use to pull videos from, any kind of video that you are looking for, in any subject. They have K-12 content, so you can specifically view things for elementary school. You can specifically view things for middle school or high school as well. I have an example. I'm going to try to pull it up just so that you can kind of see how it embeds some questions in there if you're not familiar with Edpuzzle. We're not going to watch the whole video, but let's see if it will pull up. Oh, there we go. Okay, so if you see this, then this is the video right here. And down here on the timeline, you can see these little teardrops or water drops. Those are questions that I have embedded into this video for my students. And you see on the right, all of the questions are open-ended. So I specifically chose those for this video, but you can do it however you want. One thing that Edpuzzle lets you do is it lets you put your own voice into the video. So if you'd like to narrate the video while your students watch it, you can do that. You can edit it. You can cut from the beginning and you can cut from the end. You can't cut from the middle. But if you're watching a video, you want to make it shorter, you can cut the end of it off. Or let's say you wanted to start in the middle of the video, you can cut the beginning off. Those are some things that it'll do for you. but I'm going to just fast forward a little bit so you can see what happens when it comes
Today,
to
our map of America looks like
question.
this, but around 200 years ago, it looked...
So I'm going to fast forward a little bit.
To this question, first we have to look at the city of New Orleans, one of America's...
All right, so when it comes up, then this is a question that I had embedded into the video. Why was New Orleans so important to different countries such as France, Spain, and the US? So, and then if my students were watching this video, they would type in an answer. They could rewatch it to see if the answer was in the video. Usually I use questions that are a review from a lesson that we've done in class, not something specifically from the video. They can skip it, but I do believe it makes them go back to it. So we're just going to put ABC. It'll click submit. We can continue.
One of
and then it'll keep going with the video.
Destinations, according
so
to their
every
website.
time that it comes to one of those drops, teardrops down there, we'll call them, or water drops, that sounds better, not so like people are crying because I make them do these videos. But every time they come to one of those, a question will pop up and the student will answer. So it's something you could do this as a whole class. You could do it as an individual assignment. You can do it as group work, just whatever that you see fit. You can grade these. This is something that you can put your whole class roster in. You can assign different assignments with these videos. You can have them take them for grades, or you can just do it to review. So it's a very, very cool resource. Lots of videos that you have access to. All right, let's go back. All right, next resource that I really like, especially if you have a lot of ELL students, even if you don't have a lot, and let's say you just have one or two. This is a website called Color in Colorado, which I'm sure I'm probably not pronouncing it correctly. However, it's a bilingual site for educators and families of English language learners. I am getting my ELL certification, and this is the website that I learned about in one of my classes from LSU. It's absolutely amazing for parents and teachers. It has a ton of free resources on there. So these resources, again, they can be for parents and teachers. It can be translated into Spanish. They have literacy resources, strategies and best practice resources. They have videos. They have academic vocabulary that are specifically related to ELL students. Some strategies and best practices for ELL students under this tab is graphic organizers. So those are super, super important, especially for our ELL friends, because they do so much better with something visual that they can organize their thoughts in. I really love using graphic organizers for any subject, but just to show you guys, I'm going to pull up this website because I'm going to show you just exactly what it looks like. So you can even Google it right here, and it's the first thing that comes up. And this is what it looks like when you pull it up. So it has all of these different things, some things that are specifically for families, some things that are specifically for teachers. If you click on the Teaching ELL tab, go to Strategies and Best Practices. Let's see. Down here, Classroom Strategies and Tools. So as you can see, there's a ton of stuff on here. Tons. Lesson plans. You can get lesson plans on here. How important is background knowledge, differentiation and RTI, using informal assessment, working with peers, just so many different resources. But we're going to click on Classroom Strategies and Tools. And this first one right here is, let's see, using graphic organizers. If we go down to the hot links, there's a ton of links on here for all of these things are free. So I am going to just click on the first one. And these are free graphic organizers that you can get. So as you can see, they have tons of stuff: cause and effect, central idea, identifying character traits, just a ton. So let's see, well, we can click on a star chart right here and it'll pull it up for you. And then you can click, oh, and it'll show you similar ones to the one that you clicked. You can click download and it should pull it up as a PDF. There it is for you to be able to print. So right here, the kids write the cause in the middle and the effects on the outside. So very cool, tons and tons and tons of resources that you can use. I know someone asked if this can only be translated in Spanish. I believe so, because right here at the top it says en español. So I am pretty sure that it's that it can only be translated to Spanish. But it has a ton of resources for students and parents. So this is a really good one to check out if you have ELL students. All right, the next one that we have is Storyline Online. So this is a link with celebrities that read books out loud. It has a variety of all the contents, and it's usually for about K-3, so your lower grade students. It says 3rd to 4th grade, but I would kind of gear it more towards your lower grades. As you can see, this is what it looks like. So when you click on a book, so this is a book right here that, thank you, Mr. Falker, that I know some of my Wit and Wisdom peeps have done for Module 0. So they have this online. So if you ever want to have it played out for your students, you click on it and then somebody pops up with a video that is going to read that book. At the bottom of the picture, you have buy this book and activity guides. So if you're interested in buying the book, then you click on it and it'll bring you to a link such as Amazon or something else that's similar to where you're able to purchase that. Activity guides are guides that are for the students, and they also have some for teachers as well. Not all of the books have this underneath, but some of them do, and most of the ones that I clicked on did. So what Storyline Online offers is, so they build in the activity guides. They have built-in activity guides for teachers and some for parents. Gives you the option to buy a book, and it has a blog for suggested readings. So when you pull it up, right here, down here, we have Betty White. I mean, who doesn't want to listen to Betty White read a book? I mean, I would listen to Betty White say anything. But we have her on National Pet Day, and she is reading Harry the Dirty Dog. So it will give you some suggested things as well as things that you may be looking for. All right, next we have Wonderopolis. So this is actually a website that I had never heard of. Jordan is the one who kind of told me about this. It's discovering wonders of the day. So it might just have a question and the kids can click on it and look at it, research it, and see what is the answer to that. What are they talking about? So on the right, whenever we made this slide, the wonder of the day is, what is fondant? And so if you were wondering what that was, you can click on it and it'll show you all the different things that entails. So they have videos, they have text, they have immersive reader that is built into the program already. So it'll actually read everything to the students. It has a wonder word list. It has games on there. It does have a test your knowledge section to show what you have already learned. It has extension activities, for those students that finish early. That's a really good thing to have. And it gives you hints at what the next day's wonder might be. You can vote on submitted wonders to determine which wonders are answered next. So if you're like, ooh, I want to know about this one, your students can just click on it, and the ones that they voted on, they might be the next day's wonder. So this is just a very cool website for students to kind of explore. Really good early finisher, just because they're still learning, even though it looks very fun. Again, this is, they have some other things that the students can do. They have an online space supporting educators. Oh, this is the teacher part. So this is the teacher part, Wonderground. So if you are looking for your own wonders, you can click on this. It explains high interest inquiry-based learning. It also has lesson plans that are associated with the wonders. So if you find that your students are particularly interested in a certain wonder, like if they clicked on something and they wanted to know more about it, you can actually do a whole lesson on it if it's something that goes with your curriculum. It has classroom resources, and it correlates to our education standards. And it links to blogs from leading educators. So it's a really good resource also for teachers, not just for students. Let's see. All right. What we have next, we have, for all my math teachers out there, we have math drills. I believe it's mathdrills.com. I found this link when I was looking for fluency for my students, and I came upon it, and it actually has way more than just fluency sheets. And I thought it was just for elementary until I clicked on the algebra worksheets and found out that that is way beyond me. So I believe it focuses on elementary as well as junior high math skills. Doesn't quite go up to high school, but it does go to junior high. They have lots of different fluency worksheets, but they also have, like, as you can see down here in the middle, some different specific content worksheets if there's a student that's working on something specific. And what I really liked about it was that it has multiple versions of the same skill. So when I actually did pull these for fluency, and the student needed to take a quiz more than once, they weren't going to see the same quiz twice because I would get a different version off of here. So I do have an example, I believe. There, multiplication facts. So if you click on it, you can click on, they have so many. You can click on just one specific fact, like let's say they're just working on fives. You can click on multiply by fives or divide by 3. Or you can even choose the numbers that you want them to do. So it might say multiply by 6 from numbers 1 to 7. It just has so many options to choose from, and all of it's free. And up here, as you can see, other versions. So this multiplying facts to 144 has all of these different versions that I could have picked from. This is version A, but if I want a student that's sitting right by another student not to look on their paper, then I might give them version B. So lots of different versions of the same skill. All right, moving right along. Homework Louisiana. So this is actually something that is for any student, I believe, K to 12. So again, this goes for any grade. It is free. A lot of schools have this on their school website. I know our school does. But in case you don't have it on your school website, I do believe it's on Livingston Parish Public School website or the public library website. So this is something free, and anybody can do it. It has free tutoring, extra practice, worksheets, quizzes. You can drop off a paper for review, or you can drop off a question if you just need help on one certain question. They offer online resources. I put some clips right here of the things that they offer. So Again, like if you're writing a paper and you need to ask somebody, oh, well, what was that MLA format again? Let me see. So you can contact a tutor, connect with a tutor. You can drop off your entire paper for somebody to look over it and maybe help you out or edit it. You can search for writing tips. And it doesn't just give you the answers. They work with students through the process in order to find the answers. So it's not like you're going to drop off your worksheet and they're going to give you back your worksheet with all the answers on it. They're going to help the students be able to work through that process on finding those answers themselves. They have test prep for the ACT, for the SATs, grad test. They have practice my skills, which you can take practice quizzes. You can get resources, so like worksheets on certain content standard skills. And you can just get help with your normal schoolwork. Maybe it's a math. You can drop off a math question and then they can answer it for you or have help getting them the answer. All right. So hopefully some of these were very helpful for you. I hope that you guys enjoyed all of the resources that we talked about today. I know a lot of them that we have heard before, MobiMax, Reflex Math, but a lot of times parents will ask me, well, can you please send some extra work home? Can you please, they need extra work, extra practice. And I'll always ask them, well, do you have a computer? Do you have access to the internet? Because so many of these can be accessed through the internet. MobiMax, they have their own login. They have their own password. It can be accessed through the internet. Reflex Math, just so many of these resources, if they are internet-based, students are able to get to them just from their home computers or tablets. So instead of having to run off a ton of worksheets to give students for extra practice, I usually give parents a list of these websites if they are able to access a computer at home. And that way they can practice anytime they want. And really, it's just helping me in the classroom because they're getting extra practice on those things. So hopefully this helps. Again, if you have questions, you can definitely leave them in the comments. And real quick, if you would just, if you came in the middle and you didn't do this at the beginning, if you'll just scan this QR code with your phone or go to the link below, the tiny URL, to tell us that you are here, that would be fantastic because you can sign in for prizes. So I'm gonna leave that up for just a second in case anybody wasn't able to do that. All right, and the next slide we have is the presenter feedback. Jordan and I would absolutely love it if you could tell us what you thought about our presentation. So if you could either scan this QR code with your phone or go to the link, the tiny URL link for LPPS Tech Week that will link you to our feedback. That would be fantastic so that we can, keep improving on our Tech Week game. We would love it if you could comment on that for us. All right. Hope you guys got that QR code. We're good to go. So now it's time for you to explore. So when you start exploring these websites, if you have questions, again, you can definitely contact Jordan or myself, and we will help you out if we can answer your questions about that. You can contact us through our emails, which is our LPSB emails. So jordan.guidry or jessica.edwards. You can get us on Twitter. So our Twitter names are up here. And then Jordan has a Instagram that she uses for school. I don't really use mine that much, so I didn't add it up here. but we sure appreciate you guys joining us. And again, I hope that you learned a little bit about some resources that you may not have known, or just had a really good refresher course for the ones that you did. So thank you for joining us, and we hope that you have a great rest of the week.